Welcome to Projects for All. My name is Mike, and today we have a Vevor. What's a Vevor, you say? This is a $215 table saw that was sent to me for free from this company to review for you guys. We haven't done an ultra budget table saw yet on the channel. There's many out there and we're gonna do them all eventually, but they had a table saw that fits with the theme of our channel and what we normally do, so why not have a look? Let's get in here, we'll get this thing out of the box. I have not seen it yet and we'll see if it's any good. So here is the model number. 15 amps, which is very promising. By aperture, I believe they mean arbor, probably 5/8. So do we need to adjust our expectations slightly for these very budget table saws? And I think really we do, because for $215, I don't think you can expect the moon. Aluminum fence, very small and skinny. Here is a table saw fence extension, it would seem. Not too shabby looking. Plastic gears, motor, plastic housing. Looks like metal on the front. Stickers are coming off. Owner's manual. Let's get out of the box and have a look at what we got. Plain box of accessories. Miter gauge. This looks familiar. Oh yeah. This looks familiar also. You tell me what table saw this is from? Come on, it came with this. And this, by the way. All right, let's start here on the front like we always do. We got our power switch, always in the same spot. Got the off paddle, green power switch. There's a reset button for the motor right above it here, which is probably the best place you could possibly put it. There is a loop down here, so you can put a padlock in this. So if you have an orange cat at home, or you're gonna put this in a school, you can lock this thing down. We have our blade controls, blade down and blade up. So nice and smooth, all plastic here. We have our lever for beveling our saw. We have stops at 45 and at 0 here, or 90 degrees, and a scale that's not hard to read, but they missed a few numbers, which is kind of weird, but here we are. Seems they just did the notable ones, 15, 22.5, 30, 45. We got a push stick, looks pretty standard. ABS plastic, I'm sure. Yep, about as standard as it gets. In a spot that works just fine. And it locks in fairly secure. On the right side here, we have a few things going on. You got your lever here, like most saws have. This is to lock the table extension and the rails. Unlocking that, you can see your lock mechanism here. There's your lever. You get a couple wrenches attached to the bottom where they normally are, and you get a handle for carrying, soft rubberized handle. There is a turnbuckle under here, so you can adjust the tension of this if it starts to loosen up on you. But it locks really positive, and it locks pretty solid. Backside, almost nothing going on. You got your dust port, just under 2.5 inches. Thin plastic. We got a little bit more wiggle back here than I would like. All table saws wiggle from back here. If you grab the dust port of even a good quality table saw like the DeWalt we've done 100 times, you'll get wiggle back here, but this one's got a little more than I'd like, honestly. The only other thing back here is a bracket, so you can stow your miter gauge, which doesn't really work because this top bracket does not line up properly. So you get a screwdriver and see if we can line it up. There you go, just fits in there. I don't know, is that a good place for it? Probably not, but it fits in there. And then the left side, not much going on. You got a cord keeper, it's plastic. There is no clip on your cord, but it just kind of sits there. You have nothing else going on. You got some little rubberized feet here, so if you set it on the side, it's not sitting on the side of the table, which is nice. You got some handles. There's one on the other side I think I forgot to mention. So we got a fairly small table saw here. Front to back is about 21.25, or about 20 inches across here. The extension itself is about 3 1/8. So the whole thing together, just under 23 inches from the slot to the front of the table is about 7 5/8. Not a big table saw. Let's check out our blade situation because we're gonna spend a little time on the fence. So you need a screwdriver to unlock it. Screwdriver needed because this is a little too stiff. I can do it, well, I can't unlock it. I can lock it with my fingernail, but it's a little too stiff to unlock. So there is unlock. There's lock. It's got a little plastic latch. It is just plastic, flexible plastic, but not bad quality and fairly straight. I don't dislike it. Raising our blade up out of the table, and we get our first problem. So let me get in here so you can see what I'm looking at. When I was raising and lowering this, you can see that it gets kind of loose in the back. There's some play. So I'm gonna lower this as smoothly as I possibly can. And you can see it kind of goes down, walks back and forth as it goes down. And it's got some play. Some play in the back here. And depending on what height you have it at, the play is kind of different. So sometimes it's tight. That's probably its worst spot. Checking it with the dial gauge, you get about 10/1000ths of just loose play. From like one click to the other, one side to the other, you get about 10/10. So there's that. The riving knife, since we're down here, is on a lever. Actually works really well. A couple detents, fits nice. Couple positions, locks down nice with the lever, solid, and surprisingly straight considering the price point. We've got our Arbor, which is a bolt on this one. You get 2 wrenches, different sizes. Big one for the back part there to loosen our Arbor bolt. I have not taken this out yet, so we're doing this for the first time together. This is obviously not going to be a dado stack compatible saw. There you go. Basic 10-inch 40 tooth. Max RPM 7,000. That's pretty fast. Bolt goes in nice and smooth. There we go. Full up height on this is about 3 5/8, which is not too bad. Full up height at 45 degrees is about 2.5. So here's the scale for the left side cut. You have 0 right here, all the way out to 10.5 inches left side. Here's the other side, 0 out to 10 inches. And then after 10 inches, you start up here. 10 inches, 11, 12, 13, 14, and keeps going all the way to 25. With our fence locked on the 10 inches here on this front scale, that gives us about 2 7/8 of fat section here to support our material, which is kind of nice. If we unlock this, just slide it back in, lock it down, we're back at 10 inches. All right, let's talk about this fence. This fence is a little guy. It rides in these rails, these plastic parts right here, right in this channel here. When you flip this, it tightens down. This little tab here goes that way. On the back side, tightening that lever pulls this tight and it grabs the back side of the saw. It rides nice and smooth in its channel. At a glance, it doesn't seem too bad, honestly. It's got a little viewing window right there so you can see your scale. The holes are for the extension. I'll show you that, but I don't think we're going to use it. It's plastic. A couple adjusting bolts here and one on the back there. I can tell you from just looking at this, when I lock this down, we're going to have to make adjustments because I line it up and when I tighten it down, it comes over to the left. You get a pretty good gap here and no gap on the end there. This is for scale more than it is for comparison, but here's the only other non-rack and pinion fence that I have here to show you. This is the one for the Bosch. The Bosch has more or less the same design. You got bigger moving parts, but it is essentially the same thing, even though this is tiny by comparison. So what we learned with the Bosch was it was over tightened from the factory. We loosened the backside, got the front to center itself and locate, and we got this thing to lock down pretty darn straight. Let's see if we can't do the same thing with this. Adjusting these two bolts here and the nut in the back are all 10 millimeters. So you need literally just a 10 millimeter socket. I'm gonna loosen the back one till it's loose and has some play, and then we'll try and get it straight with this. Let's get the saw gauge. So you go right ahead and tell me in the comments how ridiculous I am for putting a $100 saw gauge on a $200 saw, but how else are we really gonna know what we're looking at here? So we'll zero this thing out. There you go, 0. And yeah, 50 thou, and I'm not even to the end here. We're almost 70, 65 thou by the end. We are way off here on the adjustment, obviously. So here's what we'll do. It's 0, I have the fence locked. The back is adjusted down to where it's movable. I will probably adjust it down a little more. We'll send it over. 60 thou. I'm gonna loosen the backside there a little. I'm gonna loosen these two nuts or bolts here. So now we can move the back of our saw around. Right there, 0. I'm just gonna set it on 0. I'm gonna try at least. Hold it on 0. I'm gonna snug this back one up too a little. If we're within 10 thou, I'm gonna be pretty happy, honestly, with this one. Oh, look at that. So we'll 0 it out. 0. It went to 10 thou and came back. It's about 5 thousandths off. All right, so I got 0 here. What do you got on your end? Probably 5 thou, 4 thou. This is the third time I've adjusted this. 0, pull it over, move the back, tighten the bolts. And we're within 5 thou. Not bad. Let's move it to another spot, tighten it down. Zero. 15 thou. Not too bad. 0. Holy crap. That went all the way around. You never know what you're going to get with this saw. It is totally random. $50 thou. 3 times I've adjusted this and I cannot get it to self-center itself. So what do? I don't know. This fence, not good. Not good at all. I've been trying to get a consistent result out of this freaking fence over here for so long that I've started to make grooves and stuff in the finish of this table. But here's some good news. Good news. 6,000? Like 6 thou. Maybe 7? Yeah, 7. 8? 8. I'll take 8. That is not a terrible result for a $200 table saw. 6 thou. This little cheap table saw is flatter in most places than I expected. You got 6 about here. I'm not even gonna worry about the extension. We are, in most places, less than 6 thousandths off. There is, however, a big dip right over here, right in this area. And that dip is about 12 thou, and it's right here. Otherwise, 6, still with that dip. That dip runs probably from about here to here on this side right there. Otherwise, pretty damn flat for a $200 table saw. Microphone's about 30 inches from the front of the blade to here. First turn on. Let's see what it does. Here is your fence extension. Fits right on there like so, locks down with, yeah. This is straight up ABS plastic. It is super cheap. Yeah, I don't see myself using this. I see this going in the trash or probably in a drawer where I forget what it's for. The miter gauge is plastic, cheap plastic on an aluminum bar. It is screwed down, but it comes with this nice auxiliary fence. You can screw whatever you want down to it. You just take the auxiliary fence out. You can use the slots here or the hardware. You get fully adjustable, standard 3/4 inch slots, so you can use whatever miter gauge you want. Not too bad. Not good, but not too bad. So other notable things, you get an 8-foot power cord, although there's no clip on this, so it can't clip to itself, but it's 8 feet, which is nice. You get 3 5/8 height on your blade is enough to clear straight through a 4x4. So we'll give that a shot. This is green treated 4x4. These little rubber feet here have a little bit of softness to them, and they makes it fairly anti-skid on a surface, which is nice. Honestly, if it wasn't for this freaking fence, I mean, it locks down pretty secure, but it is totally random. Sometimes it locks down less than 10 thou. Sometimes it's 40, 50, 60 thou. I cannot get this thing to lock down consistently. So if it wasn't for this damn fence, we would be saying some pretty nice things about this little inexpensive table saw. All right, so we got it hooked up to the old dust collector. Let's see how it does. We'll start off with some 1/2 inch plywood. We'll do some 3/4 inch plywood. I'm doing my best to tape measure the blade, the fence to the blade, so we're getting the fence as straight as it can go. It is what it is. Here's something I didn't notice when we did the sound test. Let's have a close look at this blade slowing down. That ain't good. Did an alright job cutting through this plywood. Pretty clean. Let's throw a better blade in this thing and see if it makes a difference. This 80 tooth Milwaukee we've used a few times, but I trust it's pretty straight still. Alright, so what's wobbling? We got the Milwaukee in there. Is it the saw or the blade? Let's find out right now. Yeah, it's the saw. Let's try it again, full height. All right, let's talk about the Vevor here for a minute. This saw has a lot of stuff going well for it. A lot of things are pretty good. They include power switch is normal. It's just like every other saw I've used. The height adjust on this is fine. The bevel adjust locks down solid. This extension rail locks solid. Slides smooth, the ruler is nice, the table's flat within 12 thou, the blade was straight within, I forget now, 6 thou. That's excellent. 8? I can live with that for a $200 saw. What's not good? The fence locks down in any random position it wants. I can't get it to lock straight. That wobble in the blade, I don't like. It's a lot of play in this housing, and I'm sure that's what you're seeing as it comes to a stop, but all of this has more play than it should. You can hear it. That's the blade moving back and forth. The riving knife is straight as an arrow. It adjusts nice. It adjusts just like the $500 table saws, $600 table saws that are sitting over here. It's fine. This damn saw has stuff going for it, and then it falls short in crucial areas like the fence and the blade. So I thought about it all day, and I was gonna run the 4x4 through it just for the fun of it, but I don't like the way this thing shakes, so I'm just gonna call it a day. For 215 bucks, I think you can do better. I'm not gonna tell you what saw you should buy instead of this, but if you watch this channel a little bit, I'm pretty sure you can figure it out for yourself. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you guys think. Am I being unreasonable? Do you think that this is no big deal and I'm being unreasonable? You guys let me know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, hit subscribe, hit like on this. It helps out the channel a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.